Hello and welcome everyone back to another episode. Actually, it's technically the first episode. So today we got Nads, aka Cloud, and Console Gaming over on Twitter. So we got some questions lined up. Without further ado, let's get ready and hop right on over to the questions.
All right.
Do you have any, before we get, do you have anything you want to say? Thank you for...
Yeah, sure. So thanks for inviting me to this. It was amazing. Yes, I Nad614 from Cloud and Console. So me and Rudigs have started that. And yeah, so we're on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. So good to have me. Happy that you invited me to this and to talk more about Destiny.
Thank you so much for joining. So let's not waste any time. How did you get into Destiny is the key question first.
Yes.
How you get into Destiny, then we can get into everything else.
All right, perfect. So basically, I got into Destiny. So that was in 2018. I was looking to play a game between my dilemma was between Division 2 and Destiny 2. And knowing that Stadia was coming in 2019, November 2019, and Destiny 2 is coming along. So I decided to try Division 2, and then when Stadia came out, I jumped onto Destiny 2, and I fell in love right away. But I did play some Destiny 1 previously. So my wife, she's a big fan of Halo. She's a big fan of Bungie, and she ended up playing a lot of Halo 3 with her friends. And when Destiny was announced, she decided to follow her friends and try Destiny. So she played like the very beginning when it came out. She had the game, so I tried it out also. Didn't got into it that much, I think, because it was fairly new, very different. There's like not much into the game too, so a lot of repetition. I don't think that's why she didn't get into it. She's more a PvP person all time, so. But it was quite interesting. I went back to Destiny 1 later on, but mainly on Destiny 2 right now. So that's how I got into it. Like Stadia brought me to Destiny, and that's how I met Rudigs through Destiny on Stadia. So
So yeah, that's pretty interesting.
yeah.
I gotta tell you my story. My brother played Destiny 1, and when he did that, I saw him play it, so he gave me a chance to try it out, and so I ended up enjoying it, and I kept playing it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then at the time I think I was 10 years old. So he just kind of made an account for me so I could play it. Over the years I developed it. There's a couple seasons that I didn't really enjoy, which we'll get into.
Mhm.
And then, so yeah, that's how I got into Destiny, and I've been playing ever since.
That's amazing. At least you had a buddy to play with. You know, you were playing with your brother, I guess.
Yes, my brother.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. This brings up to Stadia. We want to talk about the thoughts on Stadia shutting down since it shuts down Tuesday.
Exactly. Yeah, Stadia was like a big part of me playing Destiny. Too, like I mentioned, I discovered Destiny 2 on Stadia. I think if I look at the number of hours, I had like over 400,000 or something ridiculous. I don't have the number right in front of me, but I have so many hours of playing Destiny 2 on Stadia. I discovered that world. Good thing it was like when it came out on Stadia, it came out on Shadowkeep. So a lot of year of Stadia a lot of year of Destiny 2 have been created. So there was like a lot to discover, right? And we had the Red War as the intro. Excuse me. We had the Red War as the intro, and that was I think the best beginning like I found. Like it would tell you everything about that world and what's going on, and you follow the story. I feel like right now we don't have as much a story, but
which we'll get
keep
into.
within the subject, yeah. Just to keep in the subject of Stadia, I play on there, and during COVID, we got hit hard, so I was able to play Destiny 2 on Stadia. Met like Rudigs through that, doing raids, and showing him like a little bit everything, like to discover. We discover a bunch of stuff together. Like I think I fell into my secret activity for the first time, just stumbled into it, and I think it was in IO. Um, is it Whisper the
Ooh.
Worm? I fell into I killed that Hive, and after this there was this portal. I went through it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And where I am,
And
and there's a countdown. I was like, "Oh my god!"
you just
And I remember that was amazing for me. And after I looked it up, I was like, "Oh, really? It's a secret? Oh my god!" It wasn't a secret anymore at that time, but like I was pretty hype about that part. Um, and yeah, I did like a lot of Triumph hunting. That was so great. But Stadia shutting down, it's just bringing back so many memory. We played for the last time on Destiny 2 on Stadia last week. We did a stream. That was a lot of fun. You can see like the amount of people. There's not as many people because they were shutting down. N7 did a nice video of like when it shut down. It's like almost emotional and it's like pretty crazy. Um, but yeah, it sucks that it's shutting down, and a lot of people are quite sad. I think because everybody, the community we had there was amazing. We had this Discord channel like Destiny to Destiny Stadia. Um, that was amazing. Like at the beginning, like that's how you were doing your LFGs and stuff like that. Quite a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's like there's a big community behind that. It's just gonna stay there, right? It's not something that's gonna disappear that easily. And there's still a lot of people playing Stadia today, even though it's shutting down in about 4 days. So quite interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
remember back when the 30th anniversary came out, I was stuck in my high school class, bored out of my mind, since we weren't doing anything. And I remember I had my Windows laptop with me. So I said, you know what, I'm going to hop on Stadia. So I hopped on Stadia. It was the time of my life. My friends were like, you're gaming? I said, yeah, Stadia is the best. And it was that little stuff. And I
nice.
have a couple memories of Stadia, doing that in class where all the kids are just gathering around and stuff. I still have those memories. You brought up a good thing, Whisper of the Worm.
Oh yes, that was a lot of fun. I did the Whisper of the Worm solo too. Uh, and I did also the what's the other one? 0 hours solo.
Ooh.
That was a hard one. I found it was harder if you were in the group because you had so many revive, right? And I think like it was a time when like I started trying to do a lot of solo stuff. I don't do it as much anymore. Like I think there's so many dungeon I need to do solo flawless where like those things it was like something I like to do. I think I had more time in end to practice or like to run it multiple times. But yeah,
I remember you brought up a good point on Whisper of the Worm. I always used to fall through the cracks. I wasn't really, because I think my Titan was deleted at the time, so I didn't really have my Titan very well. So I was
oh
on Warlock, and that transfer jumps.
oh yeah. If
It
you're not
just,
used to that jump, yeah. I'm
yeah.
a Titan main too, and when I switched to Warlock to play the story as a Warlock, it took me so much time to like get used to it. It's like the double tap. You don't want to jump and wait before you use your thruster. This one you want to use it right away. It's kind of a weird thing where you get used with your Titan. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing to Hunter. I feel the Hunter had difficulty to get my right direction for the jump, but like after a while, I think you get the habit of it, right?
Yeah. It was like that. I remember.
Yeah.
Out. Yeah, let's get Outbreak 0 Hour. Also was the name. I remember it. I remember one of the jumps on the edge of the tower where
Oh
I could
yeah.
not jump very often. And it's like you try to jump, and then this thing you would hit it just right, and then it would fall you over, and it was like, ugh.
Yeah, it will like kind of like make you slide, like if you didn't hit it like the proper
But as
way.
a
Yeah.
Titan, but as a Titan, you could just skip all of that with the Thunder Crush, GGs, and Line Ramparts. Yeah, those
That's
are the good
funny.
days. I'm really miss it, and I'm glad we talked about that too. Before we get into things, this is actually brings up a good point. What do you miss the most from the content involved?
Uh, I think a little bit of everything. The Red War has a lot of stuff. I miss the Red War just because of the story. That was a very good story versus the Destiny 1 story. That was a step up when Destiny 2 came out. So I miss the Red War because now look at a new player joining right now. It's terrible for them. I did the New Light mission, and it's so bland. I feel the Red War had a chance to get the players into the game, understanding like what's going on with that world, and move from there. They had time to like fight some pretty decent boss and like had an habit. I think for me, when I did the Red War, it was great because I learned everything about my character, and then I learned everything about the story, some of the lore, and it got me more into it. Now I feel like that little New Light mission is so quick, and then they made that side quest for getting Void subclass or Arc or like, and then it's just like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't really fit well. So I know they're looking into changing that, making it better, but they need to work on that the soonest. Yeah.
And you bring up a good point about the Red War. It was a stepping stone because they still bring up topics of the Red War. So that new player doesn't know what the Red War is, so they have that disconnect.
Exactly. Yeah, they had that disconnect from that. That's for sure.
Yeah,
And then like it's something I would like to see coming back, but they're probably gonna use it as an expansion later on, like in 5 years from now. They're bringing back the Red War type of thing, like they've been doing with all like the Destiny 1 content coming to Destiny 2.
Yeah, or maybe what they're gonna do is add it as a old campaigns tab.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
At least if they bring back the story, I think that story was very good. Yeah, that's something they definitely need to bring back.
For me, I would like to be able to play all expansions in the game and just have it as like a tab. Because it's like these people that are coming into the game don't know what the Red War, and they talk about it in Battlegrounds.
That's just it. It's all part of the story, and like everybody, all the new players joining in, they don't know what's going on. They're like, so like, they're lost basically. And like Bungie did good by releasing this video for the New Light. It's a YouTube video. You can go on their Bungie website and see it and explain everything up to the witness. But they should put that in the game, not like people not gonna look it up, or maybe they're gonna look it up. But I mean, people not gonna go on their website just to look up like that New Light video, right? So I feel like they should have just put it inside the game. But now they worry about how much space the game take. Well, that's never been an issue for me because I've been playing the cloud. But like nowadays, games take a lot of space, and like
look at Warzone, over 200
gigabyte. Exactly. Like so Activision, what they did there was basically you can play one game only, and it's going to be our game because it's going to take the whole space of your computer. And I think that's the the direction they went with. But at the same time, there's just like texture nowadays. Like if you want to have like the best graphic, the texture takes so much space, and that's what it is. Look at Destiny 2. Like someone pointed out, I think it was N7 pointed out to me the other day. He was like, "Oh, I noticed like now they remove like some of the voice. So if you were playing as an EXO, you had the voice as an EXO like a bit distorted. Now it's like the same voice, it's either a male or female voice, and they remove everything else. And it's like, what? So was that part of their vaulting? Like, they try to reduce the amount of data that the game take, how much space, so they cut down everything that they didn't need to. It is kind of weird, but yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like right now, I'm opening up the thing, but last time I checked, the game was 100 gigabytes.
Mhm.
When all the content was in the game, it was 105 gigabytes.
Yeah.
It's like you did it for 5 gigabytes, and then
No.
and this brings up a good point. When they put stuff back in the game, like such as when they
Vault
put
of Glass. Yeah.
not Vault of Glass, when they did the Palace of the ship, there was still the same issue where you could see outside the map. And then someone on Twitter ended up finding out that it's the same thing. Like when they took away the stuff and made the code of the stuff cause issues, and that's why a lot of bugs have been occurring way more than often, that these stuff is trying to interact with each other, but it's no longer in the game, so it can't interact.
Yeah. So you got to think too. Something we didn't mention is that they changed the engine. They made the engine better for next gen video console and stuff like that. So because of that, they had to improve everything, and that's why we lost a lot of the PvP map. That's why we lost all the content vault. Because they've slowly been transferring everything to the new engine.
Yeah.
But like that being said, like you mentioned, there's a lot of stuff they bring back, or they bring back new activity, and it's like actually a sector from a vaulted area. Like look at the season.
Plunder. Season of the Plunder.
Yeah, season of the plunder, or like even the season, like every season they like bring area that like, hey, we've been there before. It's like it's like they reuse some area, and then if you're able to go through the border, you'll notice that some of those area are actually previous like lost sector, or like activity that we've done in the past that they vaulted. They just kind of reused the area and made it better. But like I think because of the new engine, they cut they to make it to be able to release it quicker. They do a copy paste from stuff they vaulted before, and they just improve the texture, and it's like faster to create area for that. And they expect us to not notice, or they think like all new players not gonna know what they're seeing. So that doesn't matter. I don't know. I think it has like a reason to all this madness that Bungie has created, and I'm just hoping. I know they mentioned that there's no more vaulted content anymore. They're not gonna vault any more content, but like Tangle Shore, like they could bring it back eventually, but like they're still vaulting types of content. Like every we got Lightfall coming up soon. They're gonna vault everything. This happened in the last 4 seasons, like all the activity, and we have like the Sarah Operation
Sheriff's Shield.
Seraph Shield. So that's gonna be vaulted basically. So it's kind of sad they vault actually everything. I know they're doing those secret mission, not really a secret mission anymore. And that's something we can bring up. It's like they don't do any more secret activity. It's all announced everywhere. I know people can read the API, but I feel like now it turns into a quest, and that it's there. It's not really a secret mission.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point. I wanted to touch back on this subject on a copy and paste. Yeah, look at the bunkers. They might change a few things in each bunker, but it's still the same exact thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same as, is it the season of the war tea or something like that?
Yes.
That we went in those bunker?
Yeah. They just added that back end area. And the other thing that makes me upset is let's take the Mars bunker.
Oh yeah.
You didn't used to have that area. When you walked in at where you opened the bunker door, Rasputin used to be there. That was Rasputin's big core in that room.
Oh yeah, and then they changed it. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like if you look back at the Mars. Yeah, Rasputin. It was like a door, and then you go talk to Rasputin. Now they change it. It's like some sort of area where you can fight. It's like, when did that change? Like, what happened? Is there a story behind that? Because it was just like what do you call that? Just like a bridge, and then there was a computer, and Rasputin was there in the background, and you can see all the what do you call that? The pod that he dropped from space. But anyway, you could see everything there. Now they changed it to a battleground area or something like that. So they had to make an area for it. And it was kind of interesting. It's like, did Rasputin did that? Did he evolve the area, or like what?
And I want to know, like, there's a couple things I want to know. Is like, what happened? Like, because with when Season of Arrivals came out, it got me curious, because I'm thinking about the Season of Arrivals. Rasputin was destroyed or what? Because all you got was a cutscene.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of shut down, and you're like, what happened, right?
Did Anna shut him down? Because people are saying that Anna shut him down.
Did he, or did she?
Darkness is.
Yeah, because he tried to fight the darkness. It didn't work, so he kind of like ran away or something. But we don't really know what happened. The power shut down. It's like, okay, is he dead or what? And then like later on, we find out she moved him into engram. Like, okay, like how the hell that happened? When that happened? Where did she pick up the rest of him?
And then this season is to get his source code, which makes me think that Anna salvaged what was left of Rasputin. What's left of his code, because he's dead, and that's why everything's shut down. I'm thinking that's what's left of Rasputin's code. Therefore, she has to re-get the rest of the code in order to get Rasputin back. But it's like, can we at least get some explanation? Because there's two different sides here.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite interesting how they can move on to a story without any context and just create it from there. Oh yeah, this is what happened. It's like, look at the thing with Osiris, like drinking the tea and he was fine. It's like, but that's the darkness you drink. You drink the darkness. Like, what the hell? Are we gonna see in the future he's gonna turn bad again? Like, but this time he's gonna be under the darkness, under Savatun's curse. Like, what the hell? Like, how drinking a tea will like heal you? I know that they like create that big document about the tea, the pot and the tea, and it has to do with some historical piece in real life, but like it didn't make sense in game. That's all. And I think a lot of people complain about that. And it's funny because they try to explain themselves after that.
Yeah. Well, that actually brings up, how do you feel about the season, the storyline, the activities? I know we touched on that you're just like the copy and paste mechanism, but how do you feel about like storyline?
I'm quite happy they brought back Rasputin. I think everybody was waiting for that. Everybody want Siva to come back also. Like, that could be something they add to the story, saying Siva upgraded the area. I don't know. But like, yeah, I really like the fact we have Rasputin. I feel like We're moving to somewhere like something's gonna line up for Lightfall because we got to discover Neptune. And Osiris is like, oh, there's this thing like Sabaton was mentioning, and Rasputin. We try to, like you said, we try to put Rasputin back, and maybe by doing that, at the end of the season, we're gonna find out about Neptune and about that city that they were used to be human and they're not because of the darkness and whatever, or they evolve. But yeah, like I'm quite interested about what's coming next. But like Season of the Seraph, I feel it was great when it started, and like all the other season, I feel like it's redundant every week. Like I do the mission, and like okay, that's it. There's I feel like it's a lot of the repetition. So, oh, go do this, collect this item, collect so many, and then open a chest, and then like then you can move on with the story. Now I know they added the Revision Zero no, weapon exotic quest attached to it, which is good. But I feel like it's like okay, a bit of repetition just to learn about the story. Might as well just put everything in a cutscene. But yeah.
Yeah, and then
I feel they just need to change that a little bit.
you reminded me that I have a question. With exotic quest missions, what Bungie came out and said at one point, I think it was like a couple of months ago, that they can't do it because of the data miners.
Yeah, all about the secret mission. Yes.
Yes, and they call it's too much to encrypt them files. They
don't need to encrypt it. Like they just need to release it and not make it a quest. People can find it for themselves. Like look how much traction they got when they came out with Telesto and Telesto was modified. Oh my God. Everybody was looking, is there something, a pattern, stuff like that. They were like, no, we modified Telesto, it's
it's a joke.
It's like they had an opportunity there to create something awesome because people were looking it up, try to like find some patterns, stuff like that, and people missed that, like all those little secret things. There's no data mining for that. Like people, yes, found some stuff on data mining, but it was so little, and then they couldn't figure out what was all together. So like I wouldn't worry too much about data mining because they should just like create them and then see what comes out, right? Yeah, that's just my vision for that is that they don't need to encrypt it or anything like that. It's gonna get data mined, but like people are not gonna figure out the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
You still need to do it in gameplay.
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest concerns. And they say it's too much to encrypt, but you just sued a big cheat company. You got the minor stuff where the YouTube copyright stuff, that should equal enough money to incorporate. You got over.
And they got bought by Sony. So.
And you have access to their budget. If you ran this on print, they have access to their budget.
Yeah.
Why are we doing the copy and paste stuff? And why?
I think they need more employees at Bungie. I have a feeling that when they separate from Activision, they lost a lot of employees too, because Activision, I guess some sector of Activision was doing part of it, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if they got hurt pretty bad there, but they were like, we'll still make it happen. We're still going to be like ourselves. And they're for sure expanded, but like maybe they still need to expand more. Because now they're looking into doing a remake of Marathon, make like that game called Matter. I don't know if it's gonna ever come out, but like, and then they're talking about a Destiny 2 mobile app or phone game or something like that. So I don't know what's happening with all this. Are we gonna see anything like that anytime soon? Like, do they have the personnel to do it? So that's a thing, right?
Yeah. And that brings up a good point, and I just wanted to think about that, because it's like, how does that work? And it just brings up some good points. And this actually kind of brings up some good points that I think something. What is your biggest issue in Destiny that needs to be fixed? Like, what is
Mm.
something that really needs to be fixed in either PvP, the game stuff? I know we were talking about the copy and paste stuff. What is something that you think needs to be fixed?
Well, PvP, it's like a constant thing that needs to be fixed, yes. They need to fix Gambit. I don't know where they're going with that. It's fun from time to time to play Gambit, but they need to either change it or remove it. They got to make their mind with it because they didn't invest anything. Like the maps haven't changed. They didn't add new maps. Yes, they changed like it's all into one game type, and they change the way to play, so it's faster and stuff like that. But add more like map or something. Like the population on Gambit, it's very low right now. Yes, I still can find games and stuff like that, but I feel like they fix it and they just forget about it and then move on. It's like either get rid of it or turn it into like some sort of like
Or,
DMZ / Skate with Tarkov or something like that. You know what I mean? Just change it.
Or invest stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Invest into it.
Take away Gambit and let's invest in SRL, Spare Race and League. That was a big Destiny 1. People have been asking for it since Destiny 1 took it away.
Mm-hmm.
Why not invest in it?
I know, they could do that. People have been asking to bring back the race, the Sparrow race, and it's like, when are they going to bring that back? Just bring it back. If they are.
Yeah, it's like it was a fun thing, and that will make up Gambit. People will play that all the time. I know I did that every time I played. I just did SRL because it was fun. But there is and then the issue is that I think the reason they're not bringing it back is always on time.
They can always outroll it, and that's the thing. The same thing with PvP. I was thinking they could create a mod, like a mode where like you're not allowed to use exotic or something like that.
Yeah,
it could be interesting. I know, like I did a competition with with the group there where we had a list of items we were not allowed to use. That made the game interesting. That made the gameplay interesting because all the easygoing armor or like guns you couldn't use, and we were limited to pretty much like legendary weapon or like exotic that doesn't provide any bonus.
Yeah.
So like they should just do something like that, making it interesting, or like they should bring back MLB, like like create like a competition and have like all the big clan fighting against each other, right? I don't know.
But then you have the issue of exclusive. But I would rather do that than be stuck with this. What I feel like is that they need to focus on one thing instead of tackling everything. They're trying to tackle PvP. They're trying to tackle Gambit. They're trying to tackle the storyline. You got to try to do one thing at a time rather than 6 things at a time, because then you have the issue of not
too much. Yeah.
And if
it's too much at the moment.
Issue, then
and I think the vaulting like didn't help that at all.
Yeah. People are struggling for content. We used to not have this 3-month dead period when it's like a season and stuff. We did not used to have that, but now we do.
Yeah. I'm down to play pretty much like once or twice per week on Destiny, where I used to play all the time. If I feel like you look at the roadmap, they came out with the TWAB and they're like, oh, we have a Grandmaster Nightfall. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then they have Iron Banner, and that's pretty much it. Like we have a last week of the season where they're probably going to make like some sort of little story to connect with Lightfall, but it's quite like not a lot, I feel like.
Yeah. And that brings up a thing. GM changes. How did you feel about the GM level being changed?
I think that's a good idea. They're moving to a point where they're noticing that more casual player wants to do that. And I remember last season I was like with Rudigs, I was like, hey, let's do a GM. And he's like, I don't have the right light level. I need to grind to raise my light levels. Oh shit. It kind of sucks. But like now, it's going to give the opportunity to people that do not want to grind to be able to do it. And I feel like we're moving towards like having no more light level, because that's the thing that's going to come out in Lightfall. I don't know if it's going to come out at the beginning of Lightfall, but eventually light level is going to disappear, and it's going to be all about upgrading your artifact, and it's going to be leveling up your artifacts. It's going to be seasonal level, and the rest is all going to be the same. So like there's not going to be any more grinding for getting like pinnacle gear. It's going to be grinding for getting better stats, armor, better weapon, and now you have the crafting. So you don't necessarily need to go after good weapon. You can like just craft the weapon you want and just stick with that, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're moving into that direction. We know like there's a lot of new stuff coming to Lightfall that's going to change the gameplay, and I think that's going to be for the better. And sadly, this season is kind of the down low before another big hit happened. You know, if you look at Witch Queen when it came out, the crafting system, stuff like that, that was a big hit. And then I feel they going through that phase where like the beginning of a new content, it's like a big boom. They're gonna have a lot of people playing, and as the year goes by, it's gonna get slower and slower, and it's gonna be not as much stuff, right?
Yeah. And that's the ultimate problem. They try to do too much, and then they don't do that. And I'm happy about the GM changes. My friends were able to do GMs because they didn't have time to power grind.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, because let's take the new Iron Banner mode. People wanted different PvP stuff. They wanted a different version of Iron Banner. They try something new, and then it turns into a whole big issue where they start boycotting it. It's like, make up your mind, and I'm worried that with this change, they're going to say it's not challenging enough anymore. Raise it back up, and then we're back at where we started, and they're complaining.
Yeah. I think that's the issue. Bungie's trying to satisfy too many people, and they cannot get to an agreement. I think they noticed that there's more casual player playing Destiny than like people that have been like playing and grinding all the time. I think they tried to create that level where, yes, there's stuff to grind, but you don't need to grind to play the game, you know? So, yes, you can grind and go after all the triumphs and get 100% completion, or you can just play once a week or every weekend and jump on trials or jump on Iron Banner, jump on like some GM, and you don't need to be that powerful light level to like join in, right?
Yeah.
So they changing a little bit the motto, and I think they're looking at other games, the way they're going, and probably changing towards that. You know, like the fact that next season they're gonna add the grappling with the new subclass. That's gonna be an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Hell, like even during their like announcement video, they were thinking to just give that to the hunter. I'm like, oh my god, can you imagine? They'll give that to the hunter only. It's gonna be, that would have been OP, and then people are getting pissed. But like, that's good to give it to everyone.
Yeah. Look,
and then
take this for example. This is gonna be an interesting. I don't know if anyone realized this, but you can skip jumping puzzles. They're gonna have to fine tune it where you can, because it's probably a manual thing. They're gonna have to watch it, because theoretically, all you do is have a Thunder Crash Titan, and you grip onto him, because it doesn't show the video doc. You can't grip on another player.
Yeah.
And they can just Thunder Crash, and everyone can skip the jumping puzzle.
Make a chain. But they most likely gonna disable this ability when you get to those areas, just to make it challenging. I don't know. I feel like there's so many places now. It's gonna be easy to access and easy to go. is it gonna break the game? Maybe, or are they gonna change it so like
math easier.
yeah, they're probably gonna have to change it so it's the power is disabled in certain area.
Yeah,
I have
but
a feeling
can
that's
they
what's
do
gonna
that?
happen.
That's what I'm wondering. Can they do that?
Yeah. So like some dungeon or some activity you go and then suddenly you don't have a certain power, like or you can't revive. It's gonna be that, right? You're gonna go to an area instead, like not, you can't revive. It's gonna be you can't use that subclass or I don't know. They're gonna have to figure it out because it's gonna make things way too easy, I think.
Let's take an example of Death Singer Tonks for this season. They disable everything besides Icarus Dash and your healing ring.
Yeah.
So maybe they could add something. Maybe they were testing it this season.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the test's gonna come up when Nightfall drop. I think the subclass is gonna be OP, and then after that they're gonna work on it to make it more stable, like they did with Stasis.
Yep.
So technically, with Stasis, you could have climbed a little bit everywhere. I've seen people using a grenade launcher to go to places, like in Vow Disciple, for the secret chest, instead of jumping all the way onto the top, you can use that the Stasis grenade launcher to make a crystal, so you can climb up through the hole from underneath. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's they use it to get out of map.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But yeah, it just shows, huh? People's gonna figure out a way to break the game. We'll see how it goes with that.
only 2 more questions, and then we're gonna fine tune it to you.
All right.
This is actually brings up a topic on Bungie. Thoughts on the ban process? Like, I remember seeing a tweet, I think it was in like a July of 22, I think it was, during season of the Splicer.
Yeah.
Where people have been adding the community managers on Twitter and asking why they were banned. And they were confused, and then I still remember this one to this day because I made a video on it. And Bungie decided to basically clap back on Bach and Gangster, said he was using cheats. Do you think they should start doing that, where they should tell people why they're banned and allow them to know, because people online are not getting any responses via the Bungie help stuff? And
Yeah, that would be good if like someone get banned and it says like you've been banned as so many players reported you or something like that.
Or you're banned because you cheated. Like,
yeah, because we identify you have a cheating software on your computer, or yeah.
And have like an automated system, because then if you run into the player, you know that he's a known cheater. Because people don't change their gamer tags. I'm pretty sure no one changes their gamer tag name.
You can, but they don't do it as often. I don't think I've seen it as being changed out often.
If you think someone is suspected of cheating, you can search on Bungie, on the Bungie tweet, this person was banned, and you can report him and send the footage to Bungie and get his other account banned.
Yeah. I think the banning system is good, like even looking at people from quitting the game, not the game, but the match. I'm happy they added that because I'm so tired to see people quitting mid-match and like, dude, like we could get back, or like personally, I never quit match. I don't think it's respectful for the rest of the people. Usually I try to complete it, right? And like that's good they added that people get banned after so many quitting. It's like when you quit Gambit, you get that message, right? So I'm quite happy they did that.
You just get a timeout.
Yeah, you get a timeout. At least just I think it's like just giving a warning to like stop quitting, like,
Yeah.
So
This,
how are you going to succeed?
yeah, this is it brings up a good point. Like, some people have been getting messages that they have quit matches when they haven't.
Oh, yeah.
And
If
then,
you get booted out from the game, it counts as a quitting match.
yeah, let's take Azracross.
Hmm.
He logged in for the new seasonal reset, and it says he quit a match, and he has a comp suspension for 6 more minutes.
Oh my God.
And let's take me for a second. This is actually a real life thing happened. I was playing Trials, and then my game crashed
Yeah.
twice.
And it counted for you like quitting the match.
Yep, and I got a 30-minute suspension twice.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Or Gambit, Gambit doesn't really give you a ban, but they give you a warning.
Yeah. Just keep
And
saying,
it's like the game crashed, and because Gambit was so unstable for a while, the game crashed and you get booted, and then you come back. It's like, oh, you quit the game. Like, no, I didn't quit. You give me an error and crashed me. So yeah. It's annoying. It should be detected within the game so you don't get banned. Like, sometimes the game crashed because it crashed, not because you quit, right?
yeah, and I'm in agreement with you on that.
Hmm.
It can be very annoying.
Yeah, I I totally get where people have bad connection, and that's why they get disconnected. But it shouldn't be a ban automatically. It should be like, well, you got disconnected because of your poor connection or something like that, right? You have your latency is too high or something, you know? I don't
Yeah.
know. They need to modify it, that's for sure. How? I'm not sure exactly how they're gonna change it.
Yeah. So I have one more question because this brings up a little bit into a little bit about Bungie. How do you feel about the Beta of All Fools, which was given to a person in the hospital that was recovering from a major surgery and he had a disability? How did you feel when Bungie did that? And then they brought it back for the general community as No Time to Explain.
Hmm. So I think that was a great idea that did that at the time on Destiny 1. It was just like showing that they're like listening to the community and they helping the community. And I always felt like Bungie has been around the community a lot. Like they're listening to people and they also like helping people, or like, they're always doing like give to what is it? Like the donation system. Every month they're donating for a charity. They following a charity. They're helping, and they're always asking like players, "Hey, give so like you can help this project or this thing." And I'm pretty happy to see Bungie be part of the community like that, because I feel like other publishers they don't really do that, or like I don't see it. I don't see it as much. Bungie, I think they're the first one I see them releasing a weekly thing, like, this week at Bungie, explaining the information, and also like saying, hey, this month we're supporting this donation, this charity, right? So help donate, and we're gonna give you an emblem. We're gonna give you this. So there's like almost like a reward system, an in-game reward system, right? So a lot of people will spend real money to get those items. Well, might as well donate.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where it led to this. And then giving that weapon that the kids in the hospital was a great thing. Showing that they're listening to the community, and they're proud of themselves. And the fact they brought it back as No Time to Explain in Destiny 2, that was good, because that brought a lot of memories.
It was in Destiny 1. It was released in Destiny 1.
Oh, okay. The weapon, No Time to Explain, was released in Destiny 1. I think that's the gun you got at the end of the story, right?
Vault of Glass.
Oh, it was in Vault of Glass?
When it was first came out. So you had to do something in, I think it was in the Vault of Glass room. You had to go find someone's body. I can't remember the name. but you had to wait
Oh.
a week after doing that mission.
So I guess the good thing is that they give the weapon early to that kid, and then after that they release it. So that's a good thing. I feel like that was a great opportunity for Bungie to show like they care, and they released that to the kid first, and afterward release it to the public, which is fine. Like it just gives like that extra bonus for that player, right? So
This actually brings up, I wanted to actually ask this. With the
Mhm.
season winding down, what do you think is going to happen? I know they're talking, there was a dialogue this Tuesday reset. I don't know if you did this week's story.
Yeah, I did.
There was some dialogue where Zebo Rat plans to open an Ascendant portal above the last city.
Mhm.
And with the changes coming to the tower in Season 21 with pets,
Yeah.
the tower is going to be destroyed, and we're going to have to rebuild it like we did with the Lixney Quarter.
Oh man, the Lexney quarter. That was another thing. But yeah, I feel like the direction we're going right now. I think they try to combine everything before the end of the season, so it makes sense for Lightfall, right? I was pretty happy to see the dog in the elm. That was pretty interesting. I think I would like to have a dog following me around and stuff like
I would
that.
like to turn it into a gun. Because here's what I named him a little bit with me and some friends. We called him Rick. Because in
Yeah.
Rangers SPD, he looks exactly like Rick from SPD. And he even has the handle, but in the show it's bigger.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I think the tower's going to be destroyed is because Bungie likes to test things ahead of time. So what happens at the Lixney Quarter event was a test to see how the community would respond. And we have to do that for the tower, and then we rebuild the tower, and there's like a lot more pets that come in because they're coming out of the hiding now that we have a rebuilt tower.
I think that would be cool to do a community event to build a tower.
Because
but look at the Lexney quarter. We thought there would be more to it, and it costs a lot of those coins just to have like a farm or something.
Yeah, but what happens is Bungie was testing that, getting the feedback in order to make the tower better, because think about it, if the Traveler gets shot down, the tower gets destroyed because the Traveler's right above us in the last season. And I was just thinking about that because it's like she's trying to open the Ascendant Portal, destroy the Traveler, and then it could tie into like a Red War example. And then we rebuild it, and then all the pets, come into the tower, and now that it's been rebuilt and it's safe.
Yeah.
Because Rick is going away at the end of the season, a.k.a. Archie.
Yeah, they bring him to the tower, they were saying.
In Season 21, the season after Lightfall. Which is why I thought about this.
That's quite interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
My thought was like they could bring animals as an artifact, so you level them up, they stay on your side and fight, but that's just like the feel of a Pokemon.
A little bird that is holding a ace of spades.
Yeah.
The Colonel having the ace of spades. Caged Chicken. Imagine Caged Chicken comes back.
Yeah, that would be funny.
And he's holding, and we give him the ace of spades. And it would make me happy because to see Caged Chicken actually in charge.
That would be funny.
We haven't heard anything about the chicken in years.
No, they kind of remove him from the game, I guess. It was only in the last time we saw him was in Red War, so unless he died there, like let's keep real. It's a chicken. I don't know how long he survives.
No, I think we did have one other quest for Risk Runner.
Oh, the chicken was there. Yeah, that's true. At
Yeah,
the end there, where you pick up the weapon.
and then that's it. That's all we know.
Mhm.
Who's taking care of the chicken? Did he die? Did someone decide that he was dinner? I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe someone's an Elixir dinner.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna fine tune this to you.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier you started content creating. When did you actually start doing YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter content?
So must have been 2 years ago now. So basically, me and Rudix were playing a lot together, and he decided that he wanted to do go into voiceover acting. So then he was like, "Oh, I was thinking to do a podcast that will practice or get my voice out there, and people's gonna learn about me." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be happy to do that." And then like before that, I was like, "Yeah, it'll be something cool to do like streaming and stuff like that." Well, more for fun, right? So he wanted to do a podcast, so we started with that. So every Sunday we started doing a podcast, talk about Stadia, talk about Destiny and cloud gaming in general, right? So we started doing that, and I think that's where we it kicked in, right? Then we started streaming, create a channel on YouTube, create a channel on Twitch, create a social media platform. That was more Rudigs. Rudigs is my social media person. He's controlling all of this, and then I'm a video game addict, so I just like to play video games, talk about video games. So it's always a good time to do that, right?
Yeah.
That's how it started. Like, and we look back at our first video we created. It was like so terrible that compared to now. Like now we have like something nice, together. And like what we had close to 70 episodes of our podcast, plus many stream for different activity. We do community night on Destiny 2 every Tuesday. We got Thursday, we're going to do GFN Thursday, where we play a game on GFN. And yeah, so we've been doing that for now, like, and then it's been going well. We close to our 200 subscriber on YouTube, so and like with Stadia shutting down, it kind of like went into a down low. That was basically our struggle, is that when Stadia was announced shutting down, a lot of people move on to other platform or went back to console, and we saw some sort of decline within the viewers, but we still have a lot of people that was still, kind of attached to us, which was good. But yeah, Stadia shutting down kind of affected like more than just like the gamers. It affected a lot more,
Content
and yeah, content
some people
creator.
have access to a console, so they use Stadia to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, right? Where like the thing is that with my PC, I can stream and play cloud gaming. If I would play on my PC directly without using cloud gaming, I wouldn't be able to stream as easily
Yeah.
because it would be too demanding for my PC, right?
That's
So
the same here, and why end up I ended up being a little bit more fortunate, and I got a dual rig. But that's only because Stadia was shutting down and stuff.
yeah.
So it's kind of like you kind of didn't have a choice there. I couldn't do that to myself anymore, and you bring it up. And did they ever tell why they were shutting down?
Just Google. Google decided like no, they didn't make enough money, so we are gonna shut it down.
But there might be an alternative. There might be a reasoning behind it that we do not know.
Well, because you got so Google has multiple departments within Google, and Stadia was just one small branch of it. You have Google Cloud, which they use a lot of of those server for any data like storage or anything like that, or they're going to use some of those server from Stadia to give it to, let's say, AT&T if they want to release a game and want people to like play, like, oh, subscribe with AT&T will give you this free game you can play on your browser. Just like the white label side of things. I think that's what they were going for, and then possibly other services will be using their server, and that's the background happening without us population knowing, right?
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that's what happened, and yeah.
I only got one more question before we call it quits, unless you have any for me.
Yeah, no problem.
What was your biggest struggle when you started content creating, and what is your current biggest struggle besides the Stadia issue with the viewers?
Well, like now I move on into GFN, which is as great as Stadia was. It's like even better, it improve every time. So that my solution got solved like this. But my bigger thing is that time. I'm busy with my work, and then like I need to find time to do this and spend time with my family. I think that's my struggle right now. It's really pretty much time. So yeah.
I know a lot of people struggle with time.
Well, before we had during COVID, it wasn't like an issue because I had a lot of time. I was working from home, and then in between I could do all kind of thing, right? So yeah, so time it's a big thing right now. But overall, other than that, it's just like it's been going well. Like Rudex can stream one day and I stream the next day. I think the fact that we're together, it's like make things easier. He take care of a lot of stuff, and I take care of a lot of the tech side. Anytime he has an issue, I can fix his setup or anything like that. Because I feel like he is always having issue with his setup, and it's just funny. I don't know what's happening on this side, but I'm trying to help him as much as possible. And like he's doing a lot of the social media stuff because I'm not a fan of social media. So
yeah, you're not a social media expert.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I have a really good person who's going to be on the podcast soon. His Twitch name is CreeperKiller92, but his in-game now is Kazuto Kiri. And yeah, after the anime. So he handles the social media side of things a little bit, and all I do is the tech stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand where that's coming from. Do you have any questions before we do any closing stuff?
No, thank you very much for inviting me to this. It was amazing. It was fun to talk about Destiny 2 or Destiny in general. Pretty happy that we had this chat, and I can't wait to see what's coming up next.
Thank you for joining. Where can these Guardians, aka the viewers, find you if they ever want to check out your stuff?
Yes, just look us up on YouTube. It's Cloud and Console. We are on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So look up Cloud and Console. Every Thursday, I do overview of the TWAB, and I release it to our channel.
Thank you so much for stopping by. I really had a really good time chatting with you, and thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Art.